All right.
And
Hi,
now we
every.
unleash Khy upon the world.
we've opened the box. Now we can't get it back in. Welcome everybody to another episode of Kai's Musings for the 25th of January, 2025. My name is Bruce, and I'm working on the final parts of this main body of the not Tiamat figure from Reaper Miniatures, Maldrakar. With me tonight is my usual guest, Mr. Kai from Kai's Musings, and we have two guests from the previous game that I just finished running earlier tonight, and that would be Six Nations, 31 Kings. Hello, Joshua, and the Crafting Gamer. Hey, Dave, how you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Awesome. So, um, right now there is a bit of a gaming space thing going on. A lot of people are asking questions about, hey, my gaming group is getting ready to like hang up this version of the game we've been playing for years. Is there another good system that you guys would recommend? And if we could just like go around just a little bit and talk about various systems and why you would want to choose them. Like I want to pick Kai first and have ask him what system would you want to run if it wasn't Paizo or D20 fifth edition, third edition, whatever D&D it is, and just the three of us we comment on our thoughts of that system, and then just keep it going. We'll round robin on systems. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, that works.
Kai, you're on the hot seat. Which system, if somebody said, I want to play a game, I want to have fun, I want it to mean something, what would be the system that you threw them at?
Honestly, if everyone can actually survive playing through the actual character creation, I would probably point at either BattleTech: A Time of War or Traveler. Those would probably be the two I would actually say yes. I first round going for.
First round, you'd point out either BattleTech or MechWarrior and Traveler. Okay.
Yeah,
Is there
one.
what?
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
Go ahead. Ask the question.
can we? I don't have any background on Traveler except for like two sessions, so I won't be able to participate much. And I've only played MechWarrior back in the '90s one time.
Okay, the thing is that both a time a time of war and Traveler both have the life path system, where it's not simply you make a level one, level two character. You can choose to play an old man or a young person and go out there and like if you want to play a character who's been around for 30 something 40 years, you can. And it's like it takes away that whole need for playbound. Everyone's equal bullshit. I I'm at the point now. It's like I'm like, no, come up with the character that you want to have. And since the reason why I say a time of war before Traveler, and Traveler's the backup in case people don't want to play BattleTech. God help them. Why they wouldn't? But the idea here is that I is the what kind what's the character that you want to play, and we'll build towards that. Get the idea. It's like plus with BattleTech you have a timeline. A universe that has what you might like. You could literally have been someone, done something, and there's a place for you anywhere. Yeah, there's 1,000 worlds, but the thing is that but you have galaxy spanning conflicts, and there's always a fight popping off somewhere, so you can have a lot of fun. So if you want to play a grizzled old professor, in the year 3060, but you've been around for 30 years, well, that means you survived the clan invasion, the war, and you might have been a young man in the War of 39, and suddenly, oh yeah, shit, I've seen some things. I've been through some conflicts. You know, the idea is you can play a character who's got a background in an interesting universe. When you're playing Traveler, similar thing. The Imperium is huge. You can be anyone who's part of that. You're not a level one dirt farmer. No, you spent 20 years in the imperial, in the imperial courier service. You've been on a merchant freighter. you've done things. Or maybe you spent 20 years, 15, 16 years in in an ivory tower educational facility, and well, you lost your job. It's now time to go find a real job out in space. Wandering around on your pension and trying not to die and or end up having a problem. It's being something more than just simply, I want to go play another discount Dragonlance or a discount magical universe, or I don't want to play. I don't want to play discount. I bought Lord of the Rings on Temu. I'm tired of it's like Forgotten Realms, but not. I'm tired of but not. I just want to go. No, I want Iron and Steel. Like, now, if you can give me a fantasy system that actually has a life path system attached to it, I would be happy. But that's one thing that's never going to happen, because fantasy and having a detailed background where you might actually have a universe that is actually detailed enough to justify why you have 30 years of experience being a complete total badass, or being just a guy who mops the floor at a research institute before you ended up in space somehow. Yeah, I want that more than I want another hack and slash. But let's be honest, everyone's going to show up for the hack and slash. So, for some spells and sorcery shit. Meanwhile, I would like to play Mage the Ascension, like I'm wearing a shirt right now for it. But hey, Mage is a game I will never suggest to people because, no, that scares people. Anyway, that's my answer.
That's a big fucking detailed answer. I like that. Crafting Gamer, do you have any experience with BattleTech's world?
Absolutely none.
Damn.
I do know a little bit about Traveler because I've researched it. I actually have the one of the very first Traveler books, the one with the character creation section. So I wanted to do some research for my book, and at least the original looks interesting. Maybe something I might even try to play someday. But definitely wouldn't want to DM blind. I would want to play it first.
Save yourself some energy, because you can get the older books on PDF, and there's a million different editions, and boy, are there edition wars. But just get Mongoose second edition. It's the most updated rules. It's a dang good system. It's well supported, and it's not nearly as lethal as the older editions, but it plays mostly good.
That's reasonable. With Traveler, what did you like about it so far? There, crafting.
Well, I'll admit I like character creation right off the bat. I first heard about it from Legion of Myth, from them doing the Mongoose second edition. It looked real. It made sense. I would keep saying it looked cool, it looked good, and it just that me repeating myself. But I like that, and one of the things that is part of the reason why I would love to either play with or have Khy as one of my players, either one or both, is Khy and I think a lot alike. Of we don't want the just hack and slash. I'm perfectly happy doing mostly what we've been doing, Bruce, which is a good chunk of the campaign is just we're moving items from one place to another. Yeah, there's exciting points in between, but most of the campaign is just you're living a life.
Yeah, I wanted to have a game of traditional Dungeons and Dragons where like you actually felt like your character was alive. He existed for more than just walking around, disabling traps and killing bigger, badder bad guys. Like, eventually like, oh, I'm going to kill a lich when I turn 20th level. Blah! And I don't want to have that repeated. I've done that. I've played 8 Paizo adventure paths from start to finito, and I've done another 4 of them to TPK. or attrition. And I've ran a lot of book modules. And I've done a lot of games where I just take notes and I educate based on what I'm rolling on fucking randomized tables and how the players act and how the players react. And I've done that. And really, I just got tired of running the same fucking system where it felt like, all right, we're bored. Let's go find a job. Oh, look, a dungeon. I wonder if there's experience and treasure inside. Oh, don't forget magical items. I need to make sure my character is at the power curve for my level. Fuck. If I if you would have told me that the game got this fucking formulaic when I was like 13, I would have like dived completely headfirst into Palladium and been like, fuck you, 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 fuck you on everything TSR. But that's primarily because of the fact that I'm playing Paizo version of D&D with other people that have a fucking Hero Lab character, and then they look at spreadsheets and compare, and it's just like, I don't want to play that game. I don't like the spreadsheets. I don't like Hero Labs. I want you to fucking play your character. I want you to live. I don't want you to fucking like be the right power curve, power level, have the optimized fucking magic items for your fucking level, and just, be all copacetic with all this bullshit, because that's not how real life is. And even with magic, that's not how real life would be. All right, I'll shut the fuck up about that. Thank you, Crafting.
Yeah.
Six Nations.
Just being honest.
Six Nations is.
It's funny that we got on the subject of Traveler, but I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to say Zweihander and one D&D, just to be different.
Because you don't have you played Traveler much or no?
No, see, I got mesmerized by the very basic design of the covers, and we're like, wow, that's simplistic. It's not all showy. It's just black cover with a little bit of color. And then I opened up the book and I was like, holy crap, there is so much deep freaking game. It's not like, have you role-playing game? Here's a little paragraph how a typical scenario would go. No, it's like, you got the freaking life path, and like you can roll shit in the span of decades. Roll long enough and get your character going. Like, the more risk, more reward you get, but you also end up having these drawbacks or whatever. You might get your leg blown off, or place your eye, or whatever. You end up like that dude from Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah.
The man today, or it could be like a space trucker, or whatever. And it was space. So virtually anything could be done. It was more grounded in dare I say, hard sci.
Hard-ish.
Ish, yeah.
BattleTech?
No. Like,
You don't have any.
I'm not opposed to playing
Okay.
it, but thinking like back in the day, Cyberpunk 2020, like the media character was so retarded, and then here I am in 24. We have laptop computers, we have tablets, we have cell phones. We're not using Scream Sheet. What was? And I'm like, holy crap! If I could just transfer, 11-year-old me when Cyberpunk came out, would be awesome. And probably the players, but I like that whole dystopian. The cyberpunk genre is just it's gnarly. The future we don't want, but Blade, that's cool. They got flying cars. They got synthetic humans. Everything's just mechanized and shit. But you can eke out or suck it up to the go to those designer parties with your. It was a cool genre, psychosis. Like how introduced cyber psychosis.
I don't know.
Like, yeah, I want the big bulky discount Soviet arms with the three. Don't have the credits for the Johnny Silverhand chromed out badass guitar playing, or later on, Ghost in the Shell, another example of really cool cyberpunk.
Oh God, yeah.
Chatting it up with an AI. So, those are my two outside of the fantasy, or get back into Palladium, because there's a couple of systems like Dead Rain and Nightbane books for, and I read the shit out of them. Never got to play. It was just wrong time.
Khy, there's a message, or there's a hello nerdy ogre in the chat. He wants to know how tall you are. I want to say like 5'10", 6", somewhere around there.
5'10".
Okay.
Really?
You're considerably larger than me, but that's everybody.
5'10", my back isn't hurting.
And it makes Khy and I the same height. For some reason, I always figured Khy would tower over me.
I'm the short one of my family.
I'm about 5'10".
Brutal honesty, I'm the short one of my family. Everyone, all the other guys in my family, except for my brother. My brother's a midget. But no, like all my cousins and my uncles and my grandfathers are all like 6'3", 6'5" people.
Oh wow!
I'm the short one at 5'10".
Okay.
I blame my dad.
Yeah, I'm just glad that
my dad was 5'4", so
Like with BattleTech, I like the idea of it. I like the fact that I could create a character with MechWarrior and I could possibly have had a life unless I was like a test tube baby. And then if you're to be like, I was always told your only existence is to get in a mech and blow shit up and kill things, and that's it. That's all you're ever going to be. You're not going to be a state senator. You're not going to be anybody important. You're going to kill stuff, and that's what you fucking do. So
I associate BattleTech with robot jocks.
yeah,
because I was never, but I noticed a lot of kids were playing it, and I'm thinking like, that looks really cool. And then robot, I'm like, that would be epic.
and then we saw Robot Jocks, and we're like, oh, this is not as good as I thought it would be.
the thing about
And then like Combs and like Robotech and a little bit of Gundam. It was too much Gundam. Had a housemate though, and it was like, I'm watching the anime and I'm trying to mecha combat. Like, how is this? How can you be stealthy and stuff like that? Realistically, space. Not you can be detected from away unless you're behind a big rock, and then just go, yeah, they're behind the big rock. Go launch beyond that, and you'll take them out. So it would be interesting to experience mecha combat with hard science bent and see how it plays out.
I have a good answer for you then for a game that if you want to. Now, BattleTech plays much more like walking tanks. It's not anime-ish. It's like it's anime-ish, but it's not. if you wanted to go get for that like that Armored Core Gundam look to
Armored
it,
Core, yeah.
I have a great game. It's also on my shelf right now. If you see the yellow and red warning stripes in the background, that's Heavy Gear. First
Yes.
edition. That game does.
Oh, is that Saurian's?
I thought it
No, that was-
Dream Pod 9.
That was Dream Pod 9's. And the thing is that, yeah,
Okay.
the mech combat is way fat. Like, Battletech is slow moving, big hulking, just, 10, 12 meter tall giant robots firing at each other and just, wearing each other down. Heavy Gear is much more, it gets you that Gundam one or two shots and then you die feeling that, like an ace pilot who's really good can keep shots from like becoming lethal, but if you're just a trooper mech and a line pilot and a trooper mech and a trooper gear, you're going to die in droves. And the moment a tank shows up, because that's the whole thing about Heavy Gear is that the suits, the gears are not the most powerful thing. They're actually about 6 to 8 meters tall, and so they're actually more like small armored like infantry fighting vehicles that they're one man piloting. They're agile, they're quick, they're versatile, but they're not. Yeah, but they will die the moment a main battle tank shows up. You're like calling in the your anti-tank, your tank hunter suits that are just like carrying weapons that are way too powerful because their job is to stop the main battle tank. Because one main battle tank on the field, suddenly, if it looks at you funny, you vaporize. Like even the assault striders that are meant to be the heavy assault weapons are looking at a tank and going, "Oh fuck, a tank," because and the tank is going, "Oh shit, a strider," because that strider's carrying guns that could punch a tank, but the tank could punch back just as hard, and things are dying. So it's a great game, and because of the fact that they do have suits that are designed for underwater combat and for space, because space is like it's a pseudo hard science universe, and capital ships are big and scary, but suddenly you have a small agile suit because these guns are designed to attack big giant large ships, not designed to hit snub fighters. And suddenly you have the Gundam moments of high powered ECM.
More like front mission.
What was that?
Than it is. It's more like front mission than Armored Core.
It's definitely front mission, and it's like so. It is quite possible to have boarding actions with gears hitting especially hitting the ground and like start punching holes in capital ships. That's an actual these are things that can actually happen. But then again, you also have in that universe problems where a warship comes into low orbit, try to do orbital bombardment, and then suddenly a submarine comes out, surfaces, and then shoots laser beams from the surface into orbit, and then makes the capital ship go, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and run away because
don't fuck with our boats.
Yeah, don't fuck with our boats is right. And then you're like, and because of the fact that you can't just hover in space, because you fall out of space, so the ship is on a predictable orbit, and the submarine just kind of times itself going, and surface, shoot lasers, then dive before the capital ship can get its guns aimed at you. Because all it's going to do is flash fry some water, and then it dives. Like there's cool things that are happening. Or there are, on one world, there are giant land ships that just hover, and they're covered in just anti-everything guns, and you're like sitting here watching a hovering version of the Yamato mixed with an aircraft carrier, just kind of just cruising in the distance. You go, we're going nowhere near that bitch. Why? It's carrying a squadron of fighters. It's carrying a company of assault gears, and it's covered in battleship weapons and missiles. Let's not go anywhere near that thing.
It's armed like a damn porcupine.
Yeah. And this is like, and it's got escorts, escorting smaller destroyer land ship escorts that sit here and going, no. And of course, in that game, I love this universe because it's one of the few universes that has the idea of lasers just go, lasers have line of sight. That's their weapons range. Did you see it? Yes, shoot laser at it. And because they're like, we've perfected fusion reactors because this is the far future. And suddenly you have the idea of, well, let's call it an airstrike. And the game goes, there are no airstrikes. What do you mean there's no airstrikes? Because the fusion reactor is tied to a high-powered radar and tied to a laser system that says, do I detect an airplane in the sky? Yes. Can I see said airplane? Yes. Can I point a line at it? Yes. I kill it. I will fire a cruise missile. Can I see the missile? Yes. Can I point a line at it? Yes. The missile no longer flies. So everyone is sitting here at nape of the earth, jumping around dunes, mountains, and rocks because if you have line of sight to the giant turret, it kills you. And I love that because finally somebody goes, lasers don't care about shit. They don't care about anything. So suddenly you're like, sandstorms are good. We like them. Why? Lasers don't work in sand. Lasers don't work in clouds, except for the big lasers that go, I am powered by a fusion reactor. I fire so much energy that I burn away the clouds. And that's a legitimate thing. So it's just like, you know what? We don't need B-52s. We don't have cruise missiles. Why? Because the cities have giant laser cannons that just say the words, no, the sky is not yours. There is no freedom of movement in the sky. So there's no drop ships. There's no airships. You land like 100 miles away and you walk. Why? Because if you fly, you die. And I love that with the setting. You fly, you die. It's perfect.
The Aegis system on steroids.
Yeah. And it was their way as a designers to say, no, ground combat fucking trumps. Like, nobody, like, airplanes are either so stealthy that they are just invisible holes in the sky, or they fly so fucking low to the ground that they make that just like, hi, if I make one wrong move, I become one with the ground, and that's it. It's like, what is the combat ceiling? 200 feet. Go above that, die. Oh shit! I can live with that universe because at that point, suddenly having a chainsaw armed battle mech sounds like a good idea all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So, Six Nations, you started talking about another system. I apologize. What were you? Yeah.
Was
Which one? Traveler? Okay.
so the first one was Traveler. The second one was freaking Cyberpunk. I don't know if I want to do Cyberpunk 2077.
Which version are you familiar with? 77?
I'm
Okay.
7. I haven't played. I'm kind of curious, but I need to double check the war RPGs because I don't want to. I'd like to avoid said these.
I don't blame you. Have you ever, Crafting Gamer, have you ever played, excuse me, Cyberpunk or no?
No, all my experience is literally in Palladium and your game. and literally what I'm working on, but I haven't even played it yet. I was actually looking at some of the stuff in there because we were talking about life path and main room game. I actually have 12 guilds for my life path system.
Nice. Have you ever played a life path? You've never played a life path system before, then have you?
Nope.
Huh. When I created your guys'
Cyberpunk is extensive as Traveler. It's kind of like, here's a handful of stuff, and here's like a corporation you might be enemies with, and here's some drawbacks. It's okay. It's not as detailed though. It's kind of like training wheels for life path type RPGs.
So like, here's the system I've got. I don't know if you guys have looked at this, but like every race, like you start off with build points. You have to build your character. So you get your race, you have to pay for it. Dwarves cost so much, elves cost so much. Then for the character point cost for the class in each race is different as well. Like dwarven buskers are 15, dwarven arcanes are 20. It's hard. It's hard to get the fucking amount for that. And this, like, when you create your character, you're creating as a child. And then as time goes on, you have to do the life path thing, or it's not really a life path, but it's a series of charts. And so, like, you have your base age, your modifier, and you're gonna live to a certain point, maximum age. And then you have all these here, various ages. As you can see, many races achieve maturity at different ages. At that point, it's pretty casual. But here's the middle age charts. At this point, here's where the hard stuff sets in. And keep in mind, I'm basing this off of like a third ed D&D engine, but I'm able to put this in because it's fairly easy. Here's your handedness of the character. Left-handed is a 20% or less. Ambidextrous is 21 and 29, and right-handed is 30 or more. Ambidextrous is like the most important role of the game if you're going to play a martial character. Here's your average height and weight and such. And these aren't really like life path, but this is just kind of like giving you more ways for you to visualize your character. Now here's where it gets fun. Circumstances of birth. If it's legitimate, parents were married at the time of birth. If it's not legitimate, they weren't married and roll on an illegitimate birth table. So here's where things get kind of fucked up. You were abandoned at birth. Parents, we don't know who those are. Your mom's a prostitute. Father's unknown. -30 starting gold. Birth was a result of rape. Father unknown. -40 starting gold. Birth was a result of adulterous affair. Father has 50% chance of being known. Father's known, another 50% chance of having more money than what you'd normally have just because of started play. Like, shh, be quiet money. Then you have like things for birth is arranged through surrogate mom, and 25% of the moms are not identified. No modifier starting gold. Status of parents. Are they celebrities? Are they living? Are they deceased? Are they orphaned? And then, like, here's your siblings. Firstborns get more money to start with. There's more starting silver. Later kids, +1 skill rank, for your, second to last born. Last born gets 2 extra skill ranks. That's pretty handy. That's 2 extra skills that you didn't have before, just starting fucking off as a dumbass kid. Because you're, lackadaisical and you don't have to worry about so much responsibility because you're not the firstborn. And then you have the events during your birth, like lower class birth. Your mom and dad were poor as fuck. You're not going to have much knowledge about anything, but you do know the local economy. You were given the wrong milk as a child. You didn't make it to this point from birth to puberty. You were very sick. Something happened, whatever malady you endured, you've hit the edge of adulthood. Roll on the minor physical quirks section. 86 to 87, born in bondage. Born to a life of toil and misery. Parents are slaves, servants are some of their lower class member of society. So here's some ideas for like how to get RP started at the table. And these are designed to be rolled as everybody's there at the table. Like I have 17 pages of backstory of character. No. You're rolling up a teenager. You've done nothing yet. You don't have 17 pages of backstory. I'm sorry. Here's just some things for you to get in the character mindset as to how you are. And if you don't want to have these backgrounds that you're rolling up, you can burn a build point and you can re-roll, which is kind of okay. Adopted outside of your race. We have a whole fucking set for this. If somebody has read Ultimate Campaign, you know what this chart is. But very important chart. I love that chart. It works out pretty good. Then we have all the quirks. Agoraphobia, anomisia, fucking bad back, weak bladder, weapon phobias, double amputee arm, double amputee leg. Yeah.
Master.
Yeah, you could be, you want to be a handicapped son of a bitch? There you go. And I even state in here, you probably don't want to do that. But I do have one more set of things to write up, and that is the how your character goes through leveling up from a basic ass apprentice to journeyman, because that's where you go from being a child to being an adult. And this here is just basically for the kids, but you have a whole bunch of stuff. And I figure this is something that you don't see a lot in games. I lifted a lot of this from Rollmaster, which I don't know if anybody here has played that before.
Not in a while.
Yeah, tell me about it. But I love that, and I want to do more of it. The character stuff, like whenever you go to your academy and you start learning how to be either cleric or ranger or whatever it is that your character is going to go in class wise after you're turning into an adult. There's a whole list of charts that Hackmaster has that you're rolling, like quality of instructor, the nurture ability of the instructor, the equipment at the academy, the type of city that you're in or type of environment. And all these things help contribute or penalize your character as you go through it. And so that's kind of fun too, because charts are fun. Charts are fun. And I know that sounds crazy, but me and Khy are way too guilty of it. And I'm assuming that most people that play games like this are the same way. We love charts.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dear
of
God.
randomness or a chart, like, it's probably not going to interest me as much. I don't know. It's the old school TSR stuff.
Yeah.
That I grew up with.
Yeah.
And then I look at that is the most excellent simulation video game, because just fire up a world and not start looking at 100 years of history and read about the most ridiculous things that happen randomly and be like, that is so cool that somebody took the time to implement that into a randomly generated world, and now you got like endless possibilities.
That is what that is a man's dedication to that game.
It's like 20 years old, 23,
Yeah.
soon to be
What
23.
game is that?
Dwarf Fortress.
Dwarf Fortress? Oh, God. It's a really good game, though.
It's complex, difficult. You die,
Yes, all the
but you
time.
learn to accept death and losing everything. Try harder next time. I had raccoons break into my fortress within the first couple of years, and they were stealing shit, and I was traps and stuff, and then I didn't realize that one of my dwarves got all retarded in a mood, and we didn't have any leather, and then he wandered off, turned into a miasma, pissed off everybody else. Well, I'm focused on building traps, and then I wanted to do fancy little rooms and apartments for my dwarves, and like I forgot to pause the game, and then fortress was just like dying from the stench. And I'm like,
That's just how the
It
game
was great.
works.
It was stupid. Like everything was all organic in the cascading downfall. It's not like SimCity where I'm doing shit and then traffic gets out of control, and then the fucking tornado or whatever natural disaster comes, and I'm like, fuck it. Months. Now I was like right back at it.
Yeah.
So to have a role playing system where you have opportunity to do random things, grow your character out of the normal like thief type of thing, or if it's modern, your combat mechanical whiz, your doctor, etc. Like that's a great idea, and games should be like that.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to really play it, and I've wanted to. I buy games and I don't fucking play them. That's my problem. 1/3 of my games are like that.
My ADD, it's not want to just obsess over certain things. So I view it kind of like martial arts. Like martial arts help me learn how to drive better and to stay. And then like how to multitask and manage your little enterprise, fed and liquored up, and then give them tasks to do, and then hope to God that like the rest of the world doesn't come. You build your traps, you lock away your doorways, you have them dig and do all the things, but then you got all that variety and stuff that keeps you from going crazy because the numbers. Cheese it. They got him. Oh, he's back.
Sorry about that.
Oh my God! They killed Bruce. Those bastards. What?
Clarence
Nobody gets my reference?
is about to lose his position in the FBI.
You know what's really funny? I found out that we're having like that lady that was currently in the Homeland Security. Like they just completely booted her ass out. She's done.
Yeah, they did. There was a poll on X. Get rid of the TSA.
Yes.
Not heard of them capturing any terrorist, but they do take people's shit and then sell it on eBay. And I don't see that does that.
Got a quick question for you guys. Apparently, I never put guild description in, and I actually remember why now. Should I put guild descriptions with the guild, or should I put those at the back of the book?
With?
Okay. Well, it's in the character creation section. That's why I was asking. Should I make the character creation section that long, or should I put them in the back?
Put them in the back, but make sure you put the actual page number.
Oh yeah. Well, I always do that when I do that kind of stuff.
So I don't want to play a guessing game of figuring out where something is.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm gonna I have to test something real quick and see if I can get a Russia. Are you serious? There's no Russia on my fucking VPN. You bastards.
Now they've locked off most of the.
No, we're at war with Russia, even though we're not at war with Russia.
Now they're actively controlling the internet over there. So
I'm sorry about that.
It also can't find ATAX camouflage anymore. So back in the early 2010s, actually 2008, I started playing airsoft with my crew, and we were kind of doing an amateur airsoft team, and we decided to go with the foil green ATAC out there in the redwoods, and I even had a air. I was like thinking, I would like to have FG ATAX and Arid Desert BDU set, and I couldn't find it for like after I had stopped playing. I think it was like 2012, 2013, something like that. I guess the rights to that camo, and so you can get a ton of it out there in Russia, but you can't
Lady,
rock on.
Yo,
we miss you, dude.
Anyways, Ruski's got my favorite camo
Hey.
pattern, and now because we're doing this embargo and tariff shit, I like my camos. I like my surplus. I wish there were wars because everybody's freaking buying everything up, and it's annoying. The Soviet Veshmashok, which would go for like on eBay, is now up to $65. All it is a freaking pillowcase with a strap and a little pocket on the back end. Globalists.
I don't know. I've only bought one thing that was
Sorry.
actually foreign, and that was for $1, and that was off of eBay. So I got technically a real sexy anime picture, a fan art of an anime character I really like. Though, ironically, most fan arts give the character really huge boobs. They reduced her boobs by at least half for the fan art. In
Really?
the anime, she's got like gigando boobs.
Who? Who's got the big boobs?
Oh, a character called Tsunade from Naruto. She literally has something like a G or bigger. The fan art I have of hers makes her like an H. No, not an H, much smaller than an H. No. I think G is actually small for. Hold on, triple H. I don't know. She's got anime huge boobs. And in
Do
the
they
fan
clog a
art I have
toilet?
of her- I'm sorry, what?
Wine glass. Do they clog a toilet, or do they fit in a wine glass? The boob size.
These could clog a gutter.
Damn.
Holy shit.
That's a lot of boob.
Yep.
We guys want to talk about any other possible games that like just you wouldn't want to stop talking about? Is there any other choices?
oh, let's see. I know games that I like that I know I would love to have people play, but I know better. But I would love to. I would love to do the. Oh, what is it? I hate Fantasy Flight, but I would. But the Dark Heresy, Rogue Trader, Only War, the first edition set of Warhammer 40K's Fantasy Flight rule RPG which when you put them all together, you can do everything from Death Watch down to little inquisitors hunting in the sewers, and it's a phenomenally good, potentially silly as hell role playing game, and it's just amazing. I like it. It's dumb, but it's a fun set. It's a fun setting if you have 40K players or you just want to have fun. Other games that I would love to play. I'm personally a crunchy as fuck, but I want to play it Exalted fan. I don't care which of the 4 versions we're gonna play, but I kind of want to play. I really want to play that universe. It's hilarious. But it's one of those. I don't think the people who are playing it would be into the lore as deep as it needs to be able to play that game as good as it needs to be played. Same thing with 40K, with Dark Heresy. I would also love to play a nice, good, long-term game of, I don't know, Mage the Ascension. I don't care which edition, preferably second or revised or M20. I don't care. Good setting, play with the universe, need people who are invested. Problem is that a lot of these games that I just listed, I wouldn't mind playing Seventh Seas. That would be another wonderful game. But again, that's a game that requires players to actually know the nation they're playing, because there's personalities, there's stereotypes, there's a lot of intrigue based on the nation that you choose. Playing a Vodacay is way different than playing a Montaigne, which is way different than playing an Eisen or a Vestamenavinyar or playing someone from Avalon. All of these things have their own personalities and their concepts. Yeah, you can play Errol Flynn, but boy, that's not going to carry you very far when you're traveling through Thea or dealing with anything else. A lot of the games I would love to say is these are games that reward you for being invested in the universe, in the setting, in the lore. I can work you into it, but I need to know that the player is invested. If I'm dealing with good old-fashioned grade A weebs, Japanophiles back, there's Legend of the Five Rings. I would love nothing more than to play that. But I need people who are going to get in, that I can throw a clan book at, the classic color-coded books, which are on the shelf behind me, and go, here's the secrets of, and here's the clan book for. Learn your culture that you're going to play, because I want you to, because you could play something generic, but it won't be as rewarding as if you get entrenched in it. But then again, all of that, I would just go back to, if I know I've got people who just want to play some soft sci-fi, there's West End game Star Wars. It is always lingering in the background going, it's one of your first role-playing games. You want to go play that? And then suddenly you can go play classic Star Wars. None of this Disney shit, maybe some Disney shit, maybe some prequel crap with some modifications because, well, I love that. But then again, I know everyone in the universe says Palladiums, but I don't want to play Palladium because that's legitimately just D&D with extra steps. I'm not interested in that. If I'm going to play a Palladium game, I'm going to play Rifts. I'm probably not even going to play Rifts. I'm probably going to play Macross or Robotech. Why? Because I want to play in space. If there's a general theme of what I like, is that if I'm going to play fantasy, I want urban fantasy. If I'm going to play steampunk, I'm going to play the best, worst game in the entire universe, Castle Falkenstein. I will say Castle Falkenstein is the best, worst role-playing game. Is awesome setting, awesome universe. Fuck, the rules are trash. The game, I don't like playing games where where it's done by playing cards. Why? Because I hate shuffling decks. I can't do it. I can't riffle shuffle. I can't. You know what? Holiday special or nothing. You know what? If I could probably run a decent, try to run a blockade to get to Life Day scenario. It'll be a bunch of smugglers trying to, bypass an Imperial blockade, but it will be. I know Palladium is way better than D&D, but it's in essence fantasy world. I don't want to deal with that. It's just oh wow, it's level 16. I don't want to do D&D with extra steps with a different engine. There's plenty of that. Fantasy has its own universe, and if I'm going to play fantasy, I'd rather play Ars Magica. At least there, it's fantasy on a world I understand, and it works. Honestly, if I want to do fantasy, there's 400 role-playing games that are all trying to do the same thing. Because you have Fighter Man, Holy Man, Stabby Man, Sneaky Stabby Man, Rain Stabby Man, Holy Magic Guy, Arcane Magic Guy. Some variation of maybe you have Weirdo Braino powers, but I know I've played. I like it. Let's play it. But let's be honest. Every fantasy game is literally just congratulations. You are in generic, not Europe. It's not Northern Europe. It's in an indistinguishable period of time that may be possibly the Dark Ages. But don't worry, everyone's wearing full plate, and they've been wearing full plate for 3,000 years because we found an ancient empire, an ancient ruin from the frickin' second age of mankind, or the second magical empire, and we found an untouched, still in pristine condition, longsword. It's the same longsword that you got from the local smith, but it weighs the same, it looks the same, but it's got a +1, and that corpse is wearing chainmail. It's wearing mithril chainmail or mithril full plate, and it's just simply.
I thought you first said chainmail. Chainmail, that's awesome.
It's chainmail, because it doesn't matter. It's been 3,000 years, but it's still chainmail. It's still chainmail armor. It's brigantine armor.
Okay, it's RPG pundits, Dark Albion, or it's a historic.
But okay, so it's D&D without magic. I mean, okay,
no. Like there's magic, but it's more historical than your D&D.
Right, and at that point, I can play Ars Magica, which is our world but with magic. I mean, there's Pendragon. There's a lot of role-playing games that are all set in. It's fantasy, but not. And at that point, it's going to be asking, so which particular genre of European fantasy lore were the writers reading when they got really high on drugs and wrote the rules for this? Are we dealing with fey creatures of the Isles? Are we dealing with Norse? Are we dealing with German lore? Are we dealing with Italian lore, or are we going for edgy Slavic lore?
That's a good one.
Which edginess are we going to go for our for where we drew all of our monsters? Some Russian monsters, some Slavic monsters, some Balkan monsters, because Transylvanian monsters. We need to have some monsters from Mediterranean every once in a while. Ooh. Put our suntan lotion on, and we're gonna go into Arabic land and do some Arab adventuring, and do some of that Babylonian Persian adventuring. Go deal with some of the myths of Gilgamesh, or we can go do some legends in Spain, and then every once in a while we read
What
was that? Yeah.
Al-Qadim.
Yeah. Because we just want to just mix, Assyrian, Babylonian, Persian lore with some Arab myths, and then just kind of stir it together and go, foreign land with the burning sands. It's Aladdin. It's Arabian Nights. It's 1,000 stories. Yeah, okay. Look, it always comes down to what particular universe were the writers jacking off to when they got high and wrote their setting down. That's really what it comes down to. But I know that Palladium is very specific and it's unique, but that's its universe. Can I take Palladium and do anything more do anything else with it? I can, but then again, I can take any setting, any engine, and glue it to another universe. And with enough hammering and beating, make it work. I like Rifts, but I'm not going to use Rifts as my main engine to play any game with.
Have a good night, Flighty.
Good night. But I'm not going to use the Rifts engine to run, say, Shadowrun. The Shadowrun setting with the Rifts engine. The two aren't going to be compatible. Dark Sun is its own abomination. I'm not a big fan of Dark Sun because it's just kind of every time it comes up, it's always like it's the edgy kid role playing game that people bring up, and then when you have someone try to run it, it's just like, is this actually going to be fun? The answer to that is probably not. I'm not usually going to like Dark Sun gaming, or I've not had a good GM run Dark Sun. Every time it's come up, I've gone, let's try it, and then it's miserable. I mean, at that point, I'm just like, can we just go back to playing, I don't know, generic Forgotten Realms? Because that's honestly what I think you're better at running. But hey, go ahead, continue to just beat us up and not let us have any fun because you want to show off your edgy dark humor. And this is coming from somebody who's like, I'm used to White Wolf, where everyone's an edgelord and everything's miserable, and you just live in complete abject pain and suffering. But at least we all knew that going in. It was in the contract when you sign on onto that game. This is going to be a shit game, you know it, and we're going to play it. But at least there, the universe is interesting. I mean, I guess I'm just, Palladium is cool, but it doesn't bring enough to the table to differentiate it because it's still at best a mostly level-based system. Yeah, it's got skills. Yay. It's got some skill ranks in there, but it's mostly a level-based system that has stats, the stat blocks. Yeah, it's got a cool alignment system. Okay.
Actually really like the alignment system to play.
Yeah. But the thing here is that it's a more flexible alignment system. Congratulations. It's an interesting alignment system. Yes, it allows for more gradation. It's interesting. Cool. But honestly, if that's the one thing that's going to draw you to a game is, hey, here's a bit to take out the shitty lawful evil good evil lawful chaos matrix, and then drop the Palladium alignment system in. That's also kind of like, okay, cool. I could draw that into any other game that has an alignment system, and it would work. But then again, I'm also somebody who would love to drag the honor and fame charts, the glory honor charts from Legend of the Five Rings, and throw them into other games and go, there's just simply an honor code and you work your way up it. And if you're too low on it, we just kill you. Or people could kill you and not care. But then again, it has gradients.
Welcome to Black Mirror. If you don't have enough social media likes, this housewife will kill you.
Right. And the thing is that most players in Legend of the Five Rings will hover, if they just play like they play in Dungeons and Dragons, will actually hover at about 1 to 2. And that still keeps you alive. But if you have a player who's a complete and total dick, and they do evil things, and they lie a lot, and they break promises, the honor code drops from 1 to 0. Because it's kind of like the humanity score in Vampire, where it's hard to get to 10. It's hard to stay at 10, but it's easy to lose 10. but it gets harder and harder to lose those last points of humanity until you become a complete and total monster. And the same thing is in with like L5R honor. It's the rewards for being honorable are immense, but it is so hard to maintain honor 5. Anyone can be honor 5 if they try really hard. But keeping there is difficult. And people will try to manipulate you, and you have to fucking fight to stay it. 4 is hard, but you could stay at the 4 point something other tier for quite some time and be a functional character. And then you could drop down to 3. 3 is considered to be, you're okay. Most people, you're not a paragon of society, but you're an upstanding individual. 2, you get your hands dirty, and people know it. You're still trustworthy, but they know that, and the thing is about L5R honor is that you can't lie to yourself. Honor is not something honor is not how others perceive you. It's what you do. So you can lose honor with nobody fucking around you. You betray yourself, betray your own spirit. So you will so what you do when nobody's looking matters. So it is quite possible to be an honor, to lose honor while no one is looking. So, but it's also possible to gain honor while no one is looking, because when there's no one around to cheer you and you choose to do the right thing or the hard thing, you go up. But the thing is that people who do an honor check can find out that you are an honorless dog, aka a low end 1. Okay, 1, you're barely teetering on the ability of being considered a human being. And then you could drop, but if you drop to 0, people will cut you no slack. Like they'll sense that you are garbage, that you are trash. And if you at that point, if you make any transgression and you can't save yourself, no one will look twice if they cut your head off. There might be some political ramifications of, you might have been someone's best friend, but they're going to probably be able to go, but he was honorless trash. To me, that's a much better alignment system than an alignment chart that says, well, no, I am a rapscallion. I am a slightly uncouth individual. I am a traitorous individual. And this is my honor code. No, honor code should be applied to everyone, and you follow it. Everyone follows it. Everyone goes up and down the same chart, and you can work your way up, fall your way down, and work your way through the system. And it's a better system than I am a lawful good character. I am obviously good. No, you're not. And everyone has a bad day. Except for that guy.
Put down that stubby fuck.
Right. And
your ancestors are watching you.
I like that system far more than I've liked any other alignment system. And trust me, that's at least better than, say, I don't know, Star Wars West End Games D6, where that alignment system is the most fucking brutal, worthless thing of I stubbed my toe, I get a dark side point because I'm a Force user. I thought bad thoughts, you get a dark side point. I killed. Meanwhile, somebody who's not a Force user goes, I want to kill an entire planet of 10 million people. 1 dark side point. Murder an entire continent.
Star Wars D6, but man, I don't even fuck with very rarely do I let people have a Force sensitivity, much less Force points, much less be Force users.
Oh, I know. No, but we made fun of that joke. Is that it's like if you're a Force sensitive character and you use the Force to hurt anything, it's dark side point.
Yeah, you
kill somebody without in offense and and not defending yourself, dark side point. Meanwhile, Moff Tarkin, you could be a Moff on a giant weapons platform and lay waste to an entire city. You get a dark side point. Just one. There's an entire planet on fire or freezing to death or turning itself inside out. It's just 1 point. Because you were evil. and like I said, needless to say, that was a
makes me think
mechanic
of
that was rapidly,
paranoia.
that was a mechanic rapidly thrown in the dumpster.
I would love to play Paranoia,
Oh yes,
but I don't know if it's something that I could do long
No.
term.
It's not a system you play long term. That's not a long term campaign. That's like a 4-session,
Like
6-session.
it's great for a couple of shot, and then it'll sit on use and abuse and look at the cover and it's falling apart and the pages are disintegrating and go, yeah, I got my money's worth out of that.
Like, one of my favorite games is Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd Edition Hogshead. I think that's such a great system. I think it's just hard to get a campaign going because by the time you get your character to where you can start angling into being a assassin, you've got enough niggling energy, enough niggling injuries, and enough nickel and dime situations to where your character is half a shit worth, like 3 shits worth less than what he was before. He's got no fate points. He's got no ability to be a hero, and he's might as well be middle aged. Might as well be that guy in his 7th tour of duty that's walking around the jungle with a fucking prosthetic leg, and he knows he's done for. He knows his time's up, and that's the only negative about Warhammer FRP. But it's so fun. It's just the fact that like you're not going to have a long term character. You're not going to 20th level with this.
Yeah, the game that you're expected to get PTSD from.
Yeah. You have to understand that's what you're going in for. Like, as much as I want to play Dark Heresy or other GW inspired Warhammer Realm games, I don't expect to. I think the systems are neat. I think the systems have a lot of good stuff in it. But one, the print is really tiny. I need like a month to read the hardcover, each hardcover. 2, I don't know if my player is going to commit to that level of lore. That's the other problem. Like, I have a hard time. I've been running the same campaign for 4 years for my Pathfinder group. I can't ask them. I couldn't ask them a question of like, who are the main gods of this world? Because they don't fucking know. They don't get it. And that's kind of how they are. Like, they can tell you the bad guy gods. They can tell you their own cleric's god. That's it. There's fucking 30 main gods. There's over 300 gods for the whole campaign. And then there's others that just appeared once or twice in this module here or there. But they couldn't tell you stuff. They avoid war. They avoid getting to know NPCs. Like, no, I don't want to get to know this guy. I don't want to be invested with his daughter. I don't want to help do an escort quest here. Can I pass this? Can I just spam X? And so, like, I need a higher caliber player for that table. I hate to say it. Say again.
God. Dogs. Say, I blame the American public education. Most Americans don't know shit about American history, but you go across the pond, and that's where history is from.
Yeah, I agree. You keep on that train of thought, and Khy's going to be over there screaming about fucking idiocy in fucking colleges today.
Can't fix it. Can't change it.
Crafting. Any thoughts, man? Star Wars D6 holiday special or anything on your mind, dude?
Go rescue the younglings village.
We're going to all the stormtroopers are just Princess Leia clones and slave girl outfits. You gonna be with us on this crafting gamer?
Oh god. Star Wars D6 Rule 34.
Wow. So Star Wars Galaxies?
I'm
Or-
glad to agree with this.
Star Wars: The Old Republic. I am the Old Republic role playing. MMORPG.
Okay, we may have lost him. I'm not going to boot him, but he might be having internet problems.
Holy crap, it's 24 degrees.
I am so sorry. I was muted and did not know it.
It's okay.
Oh, gamer room. Yes.
I was just sitting here saying about how I don't have much experience with anything other than Palladium in the game I'm working on, so I've been sitting here in ignorance, and then I realized I was sitting there in ignorance.
I'm sorry. I just played way too many
It's
role
all right.
playing games.
Yeah, I mean, it's not your fault, Crafting. You're with two guys that have been playing since '87 or before.
Yeah.
Don't take that as a like, oh, he has no idea what he's talking about. Harumph. No.
Actually.
Oh, that's not how I was taking it. It's more like I have nothing to actually bring to the conversation unless I want to start talking about my game. But that feels a little self-centered to just start talking about a game that nobody knows but me.
Actually, I think Khy might know about Arendia.
About what?
It was a
Arenaria?
PS2 game, I think, where there were skyships, Tales of Arendia.
The Skies of
Skies of
Arcadia.
Yeah, I played Skies of Arcadia. It was a fun game.
Well, that's the game I based a lot of my game
Right.
off of.
And I can see I can see its DNA and where it came from. It doesn't bother me, but I'm also not gonna call you out on it. It's like, because honestly, most of us have stolen the living fuck out of at least one or two universes. I'll admit that if you knew where to look, you could probably still see the serial numbers on a lot of what I've fucking stolen in my games. So
Khy, I gotta ask you this.
yeah.
Have you ever stolen anything of Anne McCaffrey's?
Early on, but I kind of threw it out as I realized that nobody but me had read Dragon Riders of Pern, and everyone kept on comparing it to. So is this like the Dragon Riders of Dragonlance? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. It's just Dragonlance. And then I quickly retired all of that and went, nope. It's just gonna get
Aragon?
What was that?
You're gone.
Is this Aragon?
You know, if I had waited about 10 more years, I probably would have encountered that. With some of the high schoolers, they probably would have gone, this is Aragon, right? And I'd be like, no, this is Dragon Riders of Pern. So this is Dragonlance. No, this is Dragon Riders of Pern. Why don't we just, you know what? There are no dragons. There are no drakes. There are no lances. There's no sky combat. Nope. None of that shit. Just, nope.
Fucking Khy, it's based on Draken, the Order of the Flame.
You know what? You're right. Like, so I can like have my own personal dragon that I fly around in and have sky duels and other cool shit. Yes, fuck yes. So it's no. If you say what the fuck, look, if you say it wrong, I'll just say you're right. So it's Dragonlance. You're right. It's 100% Dragonlance.
Yep.
Wow,
Yep.
that's kind of cool. Wow, it's like Aragon, right? You're right. You're right. Sure.
One guy that did Joust, wasn't he supposed to be doing a game based off of Joust?
Yep.
Yes, he was.
I vaguely remember that from
game is
a million
sacrosanct.
years ago.
I love Joust.
So do I. I'm a big fan of Joust.
God, that was a fun game.
What was another game that I liked? I liked Call of Cthulhu.
But yeah, since everyone's obviously want me to talk at least a little bit more about this and talk about at least a few things I do know. The game that I'm working on, actually, the life path system came about because I told Khy I was stealing something from Traveler, and he seemed super excited. Then I told him what it was. I forgot exactly what it was exactly. He's like, "Oh, okay." And then I thought about it for a second. He was probably thinking about the life path system. And then I read the life path system. I was like, okay, I can see why he would be excited to have this in my game. I added up to going. I'm just assumed Khy was disappointed that I didn't add the life path. I don't actually know.
I'll be honest. I love them, but they're so finicky that it's to make them actually interesting is hard. Because A Time of War is playable. It's interesting and it's okay. Traveler has tinkered with it on so many different versions and so many different editions that some are lethal, some are not. Some have lots of failure points, some don't. You can either have a really awesome character or literally a limping trash fire that that's currently burning when you meet the rest of the party because you have one, an endurance of 1, and if anybody looks at you funny, you'll die. So.
Oh, did somebody sneeze off about 5 yards away?
Died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night.
Somebody landed the ship wrong. You died. And the game, you could tell that they've never gotten the game to be perfect. Some of us like early stuff. Some of us like Mega Traveler. Some of us like Mongoose. Some of us like 5th Ed. Some of us like I like T20. God help you. Some of us like Mongoose Second. There's a lot of additions, and all of them try badly. You can almost look at the multiple choice Pathfinder 2 shit and go, there's some genetics that say, well, you can work your way up through race, background, class, and then variations upon that, and it works you up from youth, your race. Then what did you do? Your background. What was your what was the thing you did before? What were you doing before you became an adventurer? There's a little bit more, and here's your class, and here's the things you get for your class. You have a kind of a worthless version of that, and you can just go now. If they had any balls, they would say, "Oh no, you can continue to play it up through the ages," but then suddenly you run into the problem of, well, the goblin died of old age because he dies at age 30. So when everybody else is adventuring and he graduates high school and goes, well, time for the retirement home, and then falls over dead. Meanwhile, the elf has gone, I have approximately 400 years of experience because I am a superior creature because I am old and still beautiful and young. And then the dwarf is kind of going, shut the fuck up. I've been on a drinking booze bender binge for a half a century, and my liver is fucked. I'm ready to go adventuring so I can pay for a new liver. And he was going, I'm like 25, and I think I'm pretty good for life now. Let's go out and have some adventures. And the goblin's, yay, everybody else is ready. And then push me closer in my wheelchair. And that kind of shit's happening. And I can understand why that won't happen. But
I really want, now that you've said this, Khy, I want to loose upon my tables a goblin lich. I'm 40!
Yes! I am an ancient goblin lich! How old are you? 50! I have seen 8 generations of goblins come and go.
My knowledge is vast.
Wow, you managed to live through one entire swing of the cultural pendulum. Congratulations. And meanwhile, the elves are like,
that whole age thing.
Like, you want to come over to our ancient immortal lich kind card game here? Yeah. Am I finally allowed? Yes. We only allow people who live past 50 here. Yeah.
Here's your AARP.
That's right.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see one of these. I know. If you live for 15 more years, you'll hit retirement age. You get Social Security. Wait, they pay me to be old? Yes. Yeah.
We were fucked
What?
the whole time.
Yeah.
Why is the retirement age twice my race's age limit? That's bullshit. I worked my entire life and never see retirement. Yeah, it's 68, dude. Fuck.
I so want to see a goblin hit fucking 68 years old and then go to the fucking the county coroner or the county assessor. Give me my retirement wages now, motherfucker. Fucking no teeth, ears are all wrinkled as shit. Looks like one giant wrinkle factory.
He looks like
Yeah, literally, he does look like Yoda.
I have
Yoda.
much Social Security I have stolen.
Oh my god.
But no,
Yeah.
entitled I am.
You find out that Yoda's really not a 600-year-old human. He's just a 75-year-old goblin that's seen too much Abbott and Costello.
Yep. Sees
All that
R2D2.
shit up.
No, report me to the IRS. No.
Oh my god. If he sees R2D2 and gets PTSD, do we win?
Yes. See, this is how fun a game can be without rules. Just have fun with it. Ah.
I don't know, with the current conflict, I was thinking of Gamma World and the Morrow Project.
Yes.
They're a little bit dated, but it was a cool post-apocalyptic setting.
Hey,
Like
what
one.
other game? Come on, Morrow Project is the only game where you can actually get out maps of like the 70s and go, okay, the end of the world happened in what year? 1984?
Yeah.
Okay, so we crawl out of our nuclear bunker and we go over to this place in rural Indiana. Why? Because nobody else will have been there, and I think it's probably still unlooted. And where at? It's a little place. It's a little Air Force base about 20 miles outside of Kokomo, Indiana. And what was there? A bunch of Air Force refueling tanker planes. Nobody will have gone there, so we could probably loot that place still. All right. And it's like where you can finally use all of your esoteric Rand McNally map knowledge and or stuff you learned in the service to go and loot a fantasy world after the bombs drop.
And your not tank girl modified M7Oaks freaking armored car
Yep.
cruising down the Rust Belt or something.
Because that's the best, and that's the best part is that you don't even need to play in like some fantasy setting because you can just literally. I think that's the one thing I like about playing in post-apocalyptic games because you don't need to send them anywhere special. You can send them in your hometown, the town everyone lives in, everyone's there. So you can just go, okay, so all the bridges are burnt out over the river, except for there's this log pontoon bridge that's near the Narrows at this spot. What do you guys do? Where do you guys go? And then everyone can immediately visualize the terrain, the building structures. You can say what's wrong. I know that Bruce will understand, and nobody else will understand. So if I would say, yeah, okay, so the two spans of and the two McCluggage Bridge spans are down. They've been rusted out and are currently just debris in the river.
Fuck.
But there's a log bridge over the old Narrows that are underneath Grandview Drive. Suddenly, players who all live in my area would all go, oh, okay, we now know that's the crossing over point between from the east and west side of the river. And you can just say, oh yeah, and there's watchtowers on the bluffs. You can just move around in there, and follow the old rail lines, travel the old highways, and expand out from there, and you can describe it really well. And at that point, I get to run my infamous Peoria is an impossible to assault city if you use medieval tactics. Like I'm medieval warfare without aircraft. Peoria is damn near impregnable. It's a beautiful, heavily fortifiable, easily fortifiable region. It's great. There's swamps to your south, narrows to the north, rivers and valleys that are fucking impossible to walk across with men in lines and formations. There's just places that can. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a horrible place, and I've watched people just go, "Fuck Peoria." There's the answer.
No, I love Peoria. I wish things hadn't happened the way they did, but like, okay, whatever. I moved down here, but from the fucking air, like you can get into Peoria if you are trying to get in from the east side of the river without air support. Good luck.
Good luck. The west ain't any better. The west ain't any better. North is crap. South is swamps.
Yeah. Where Pekin's at, it is a swamp.
Yeah, south of Pekin's a swamp. North of Pekin is north of Peoria is bluffs and narrows and choke points everywhere. West is ravines, is creeks and ravines. East is creeks and ravines everywhere, with only
you have an entire poison stretch where Powerton's at because of all the salt you're leaching into the fucking ground. Good luck there.
Yeah,
that's like what 3 miles of trains of nothing but coal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Over the course of time, that would all go to shit.
Chillicothe North actually has there's like 3 huge choke points that if you were a Revolutionary War in general, you just go, these are the best choke points in the universe. I just park guys up here with cannon, look down at these choke points, and you can't, like, the hills are not easy to walk up. Mm-hmm. They're heavily wooded. These are places that, like, at Gettysburg would be butcher zones. And so, because, like, we were looking at it as like, okay, if we were Napoleonics, how would we do this? If it was, Charlemagne, how would we do this? If this was Civil War, if it was like Lee, how would we do this? We even got so far as to, okay, let's go keep moving. We were moving up the technology tree to when does Peoria become assaultable? And it hits literally World War II when you can actually just bombard it from long range out, with heavy artillery from long range. But beyond that, and even then, I even had one pilot go, I wouldn't want to fly anywhere near this place, and it's like, what? And it's like, yeah, there's just so many blind places that one guy with a man pad would just be able to just fuck your day over, and it's like, what? You can't outrun a radio. I actually had one guy give me that response: is that you can't outrun a radio. You have one guy sitting in a tree, in Chillicothe, spots a plane flying down the river, and literally just radios up to Spring Bay, and just says, "Hey, wake up!" And suddenly, 2 or 3 stingers, and suddenly, your day is ruined because you thought you were going to fly low through the valley and bypass radar. And he's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that."
And
yeah, and the thing is that it's like when you have a pilot go, yeah, that's a pretty good idea, except for here, 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 and here, and I'm like, wait, what? And he just rattled it off. He goes, nah, fuck Peoria, fuck trying to get into this place, and I'm like, so this, what you're saying is this would be like an insurgent's best, dream home. Like if you want to just murder people all day long, this is a great city for it. And I'm like, holy shit.
But it's the truth, though, because it's really hard. Like, if you drive up and down the Narrows all day up between Chillicothe and Peoria, I've done that a lot. Thank you, Maxco Concrete Pumping. There's so many spots where you have 400 feet of visibility, and then there's fucking rock, or there's a fucking river to your right-hand side.
Yep, and the river is so shallow and mud-filled. So even going amphib across it, you're just gonna sink shit into the mud.
That's why the LST was able to sail up and down the fucking Illinois River with ease.
Yeah.
Remember when the LST came through?
Yeah, but it hugs a channel that's very, very narrow.
Yeah.
Once you're out of the channel, you're fucked.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's an LST. I mean, it's not like it's got a fucking deep draft.
No, and that's why it was able to do it, but nobody else can. That river sucks. I know. My boss is a boater. He loves the river, but he hates the idea that it looks vast and deep, but it is shallow in mud everywhere. And I'm like, looking at the maps, it's like, okay, so your draft is approximately 3 to 4, like anywhere between 2 to 4 feet deep through most of the river. Mm-hmm. But the mud, when they were, they're building, they just finished the new span over the McCluggage Bridge. So the third span's done. But I asked them, how far did you have to go down to hit bedrock? And they were like, about 100 feet.
That's about right.
100 feet, and they started to hit solid earth. So those pylons go that far into the muck.
Yeah.
Which means the river is just pure gist. And have you ever walked in the river?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, okay.
It's not fun.
It sucks you in, and you gotta like literally just
you're getting a workout. If you go in fucking ankle deep, you're going in fucking, you don't realize it, knee to thigh deep.
Yeah, and you're gonna crawl out of that muck, and that's the whole river.
I don't turn this into fucking fishing with Babe Winkleman there, Six Nations and crafting.
No, but and
that's okay.
No,
sorry, but these are like this is shit that's details that when you're a GM, you should know details like this, so that way you can ambush players. When you present them a beautiful river, and they go, "We're gonna walk across it," and then they die because they sink into the muck.
Yeah, like you give them the Artax treatment, and they're like,
or lose all their gear.
Oh, you want to cross this river? How much do you carry on you?
Oh, it's not that. You can go in fucking buck naked, and you'll be sinking into this shit.
Yeah, it's really as bad as he says, because I've done this before, just trying to get fucking carp to shore, and I realized, like, just cut the fucking line. Just cut the fucking line.
Yeah.
And you're probably thinking, like, what the fuck are you doing catching carp, Bruce? The reason why I go for carp is that they're fun to catch.
They are fun to catch. And you kill
them. Yeah, they're not.
No. That's why you have good neighbors. You have neighbors in diverse neighborhoods, and you're like, hey, just caught this carp. Do you want it? Like, you don't want to give them like more than 2 carps because there's so much fucking mercury in those 2 fish that you're gonna condemn them to die. But you want them to eat well for at least a couple days. Fuck, I've given away 30 pounds of carp before between 2 fish because of how much. Go ahead.
The good news is the river's pollution level has actually dropped to almost edible fish.
Well, I wasn't fishing the river. I was fishing Powerton Lake.
Oh, that thing, yeah.
Yeah, I fish Powerton because of the fact you can go there and it's a good challenge. You get the right peanut butter bait, and you're never going to be like, you throw your bait in and don't turn your fucking back on your line because your pole is going to dip down hard. You better have I sold a $40 rig of a pole and Zebco reel for like $120 before, because I caught a 55 or 45 pound carp, and I had like a foot and a half of it sticking up out of the 5-gallon bucket. So my neighbors were like, we'll buy the carp off you. But then one of my neighbors, drug dealer buddies, is like, fuck the carp, buy the goddamn pole from him. Do you see that pole of his? Buy that. That's worth money. And so they bought that off me. Fuck. We and the girlfriend went back, and we went over to go pick up stuff. And like an hour and a half later, we were back, had the same rod and reel, because that's what they sell down there. If you want the heaviest line that Zebco has, if you want the heaviest reel, you can buy all that for like $45 back in 2008, 2009. It was gorgeous. Sorry, I don't mean to get all geeky on this shit, but I know I remember that too well. My bad.
My uncle took your ear off. He's an angler. With Shimano reels and whatnot.
I'm not an angler. The wife is, but I drive the boat. So
Wait, you have a boat?
That's
I don't anymore. But I love boating on the river. So a lot of my friends are boaters. So
Yeah, that
I love taking out a kayak every once in a while.
and thus it's always fun to go get the yearly update on where the channel is for the year.
Oh man, I haven't been kayaking in years now that I think about it.
yeah, it's really a shame when you
really
start thinking about all the things you used to do when you were younger. You're like, I haven't done this in over 10 years. Like
Yeah, no.
I haven't fished in over 10 years. I love fishing. It's a stupid activity, but it's
yeah, kayaking in about 12 years.
Mind you, I'm a calm kayaker. I do not like rapid waters.
Yeah,
So-
I just like going out with my friends who have pontoon boats and then asking, "Can I drive the pontoon boat while you guys all drink?" Yes. Then I get to have the best thing in the entire universe: the helm, the pontoon boat, and the depth finder and the fish finder. So that way, I get to do what I like to do, which is drive boats, and they get to do whatever they want to do, which is drink and fish.
sounds like a winning plan.
Right? I don't drink anymore, so it's a great combo. Plus, whenever the River Patrol Coast Guard coasties show up, they're like, "Hey, is anyone drinking on this boat?" And everybody goes, "Yeah," except who's driving? And then I get to wave my hand, and I go, "I'm the sober one."
Yeah, the coasties like that. They really like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's
I haven't
enough
drank
trunks
while
of water
fishing.
and sunken boats.
I've not
Man.
drank fishing for years. I good God, I need to get back to my old self.
So yeah, a few years ago there was a really bad, it's a great moment. Okay, Bruce, you'll know about this. The sandbar that's just across from 74, where the Levy District dumps out at in front of Peoria, downtown.
Where the greats are at.
Sorry, where the Levy District dumps out and creates that nice big sandbar that's just huge. That's if you're walking the riverfront, you'll see it right across the riverfront off 74
all the time.
Okay, so the river was high. It was flooding. This is a few years back. River was high, and the wind was blowing. This one asshole who's got a big cabin cruiser, goes flying down. He's flying. He doesn't give a shit about it. And we notice that he's on the wrong side of the buoys. Well, right now the river's up approximately 4.5, 5 feet over where it should be. And so, there's some depth to the river at the moment. And this guy's taking this big cabin cruiser out. And, at this point, you can't see the sandbar. And he's on the wrong side of the buoy. And we're sitting here watching him go flying. And, well, he drives his cruiser right up onto the sandbar. And momentum pushes him up, out. So the bottom of his boat, the keel, is currently now in the sandbar, and he's stuck. He can't get it out, and we can't pull him out because it's just, his boat's too heavy. Our little boats can't pull his ass out, and
Need a barge or a tug.
No, he just sat there because the Coast Guard tug was busy. It was actually down the river past the locks, and it couldn't get past the locks at the moment. So he sat there for like a week. And the water went down. The water went down, and his boat just kind of just rolled over to the side. And then it eventually just pulled.
I was half expecting to hear.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was half expecting this story to go to end up saying, and then we watched the current take his boat right over the edge of the waterfall.
No. There's a lock and dam approximately about 5 miles south of the bridge. Like 5-6 miles south of the bridge. That's in the Creve Coeur up North Pekin area. The problem here is that when the water's up, the lock and dam really can't do much. And I guess and it was, Army Corps of Engineers run that bitch. I don't know what they're doing at the time, so so yeah, coasters were busy. They couldn't get to them until the water got to the point where the lock and dam could be used. They got up there and pulled his ass off. But for a couple of days, well, Peoria had its own shipwreck sitting on shore for a bit.
We used to have, I wish it hadn't rotted away, but by the time somebody decided to try to save it, it was too late. We actually had, for the longest time, a beached casino boat. There's one of those paddle steamers up here in North Idaho.
That's cool.
Is that how the casino is in East Peoria?
Yeah, it's pretty permanently moored now. They don't keep the channel clear anymore because it doesn't sail anymore. Peoria's trying to get the boat to come over to the Peoria side, but yeah, it ain't leaving.
It'll never move again. It's really in bad shape. The engine's, from what I understand, like it needs really a lot of TLC, probably about $250,000 of renovations.
It's just a casino that floats now, and that's about it.
I mean, yeah, it floats.
I miss when they still actually had the rules of it had to actually sail once a year. But those days are long gone. Oh. So did I hear somewhere that this is supposed to be a short night?
We could make it one. I'm almost finished with the main body on here. I'm very happy with my progress.
Oh, I just didn't want to keep you on longer than you were able to. So
appreciate that. My wife appreciates that. I've got to be up in the morning and go check out my truck, make sure we're good to roll on Monday morning, because I like my job and I like what I do and I like the guy I work for. It's one of those really weird combos. I've never had this before, where I really enjoy who I work with, and I also get paid well. Usually, if you enjoy who you work with, like you're in poverty, or there's some other really big negative, like, well, I just can't afford to keep going back and forth from home to the garage or whatever. You have situations like that. I'm sure you guys have heard this before. It's a tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's nice. I liked it.
Peanut butter and the chocolate to meld.
Yeah.
You get that nice Reese's.
Yeah, I'm very happy with things. He's really enthused about things. I'm working on getting more people in. I would like to get my old client list from the first company I did this for and take care of those people, because they're being underserved right now. They're not being taken care of at all.
Well, you know what they say.
The first
You
job.
get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women.
Good Lord. And I drive a nice truck. Like, holy cow, I love this Peterbilt that I drive. And I'm not even a Peterbilt guy. But
Professional truckers put time into, they look pretty sweet.
like, I know I probably should do more with the truck. Like, I should probably get my hands on it and help maintain it. But I've only been working for this guy for less than a week. And he's not asking for my help on it. He's like, nope, you're not a mechanic. No offense. If I need a mechanic, I've got a mechanic. Okay. But I'm sure in time I'll get to know the underside of that truck really well. I'll get to know other aspects of the truck pretty well. It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm honestly feeling like I'm blessed. Like, I don't know how else to put it. This is a gift. I've got the damn near same wage as I had before. It's just that I work for somebody that I want to see succeed, instead of dealing with people from Houston that I can't wait for you to fail. Like, I gave you my idea and you're failing You're wondering why you're failing, but I already told you how we could fix this, and you don't listen. But no, this guy, he's good. He has his own ideas about things. He's got common sense. That's all I care about. Fuck. And I
So
don't.
you're the
Yeah, literally. I feel like the Bob to his Joker.
nice.
Bob, gun, bam, and Bob died.
That's not a bad thing to be.
No,
You're my number one.
no. Khy, what do you got going on? Are you building any new army lists? Are you getting your campaign together for the new semester? Or...
I'm just pinning up some miniatures in my free time. Nothing major, nothing quick. I haven't had time. More just working on just mostly prep at the moment, except for some online gaming groups, which have been just relaxing. A lot of realization that I have a friend of mine who's getting ready to run a Ghostbusters role playing game. So
From old D6?
Like old school.
yeah, he has the book and everything, and he's like, "You want to play
Nice.
some Ghostbusters?" And I'm like, "Yes, I will happily play some Ghostbusters," because he's a big Ghostbusters aficionado. So I know he'll put some actual effort in making it feel legit, and I can put effort in going, all right, so if you put effort in the universe because you care about it, I'll put effort into actually playing it, and actually play a proper Ghostbuster, which will probably mean being a half crazed midwit who is a crackpot and somehow right, and it'll be hilarious because, well, that's most of that. And because they know they're crazy, and it's fun. But then again, that's kind of like when you get to go role play with, say, when you play some not Traveler, but you're playing with you're hanging out with a bunch of people who are Honor Harrington fans, and well, yeah, that's its own that is its own experience altogether. And then there's the people who are in the middle of using you as a bouncy board for their Warhammer the Warhammer 40K stories, because nobody else knows the lore, but you know it. I'm like, roughly. I'm going to ask you all the questions. Cool. And then there's the Battletech players that are in another area where everyone's legit crazy. Do we actually play the board game? Yes. Do we enjoy playing it? Yes. Do we spend most of our time actually bitching about the lore? No, we're not bitching about the lore, because we realize the fact that, yeah, the lore of the universe is big and huge, and it's constantly moving, and we're getting ready to go to a new era soon, but if we don't have to like that, plus we've all invested our time into a little dumpy rural backwater world that nobody cares about, that's 2 jumps off the main highway, and is currently being quarantined, blockaded / quarantined. No one really knows. No one's sure what year it is. No one cares. But hey, we don't give a shit, because it's our own little corner of the universe that has a continental drug war between the cocaine and the corn smugglers, and people are writing up dumb lore for it. Why? Because it's our corner of the universe, and we get to have fun creating the most stupidest things in the universe. Sure, it's got Irby derbies. Sure, yeah, we've got Hetzer races happening. Yeah, we've got people who are coming up with strange new ideas. Or, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had X thing? Well, start figuring it out. Start developing it. Yeah, make it. Like, this planet's been around for 400 years. It's got some history. It's got some craziness. What are we? A bunch of independent Texans who are living here in a rural planet in the middle of nowhere. We love our guns. We love our rocket launchers, and people get dumped here periodically. and there's it's full of jokes. It's got music. It's got a culture developing, and it's full of crazy people. And yes, it's a world where the post office is allowed to shoot you if you get in the way of the mail. In fact, it's written into the Constitution. Nothing stops the mail, and they are allowed to murder you if you try to stop it. So every postman is carrying heavy ordnance for the express purpose of delivering the mail. Fuck yeah! This is the world we want. This is the world that we wanted, and we're playing in because it's a goofy fucking world.
Want what the Postmaster General can do or crime cartels.
Yes,
but at the foot.
Yes, and it's a great place where it's like what's going on here? It's a dumb world, and it keeps. And the best part is that it progressively gets dumber, because one of the mottos of this group is none of us are as dumb as all of us, and it's a beautiful, beautiful mentality. Because we're all in it together. So yeah, I may not be playing officially on a tabletop or running my campaign, but I am running my campaign in various other ways. I am doing a lot of fun, like just embracing the fun side of it, and then doing a whole lot of navel gazing on my channel on your Discord, which is a lot of navel gazing.
Sounds like a badass setup, dude. We are the eyeballs on the green dragon have to be painted. That's the last thing I'm doing. After that, varnish the main fucking body.
And then it's done.
Yeah. Then after that, I get to work on these.
The wings.
Yep.
See them wangs?
Huge wangs. Gentlemen, appreciate y'all being here tonight. It was a lot of fun, and I didn't expect everybody to show. I appreciate everybody doing it. Did Flady, you take care of yourself. Nerdy Ogre, have a good night. Travis J 1975, good seeing you in the chat, my friend. For all of those of you that stayed silent and just hung out with us, appreciate you being here too. To my panelist, Khy, 6 Nation 31 Kings, the Crafting Gamer, I got to say thank you for your input. Like, I wanted to know some things about what you felt about various games and game systems. I know that not all of us are knowledgeable about the various games that are out there, and I expect that. Over the course of time, change that will happen. I can guarantee it. As long as you guys stay in the hobby, you'll be bumping into new stuff. And you crafting. Let me just tell you something that I've discovered. You might not run all the game systems on your shelf. You might never run all those game systems on your shelf. But you're going to go through books either at the store or on your own private library at a friend's house, and you're going to be flipping through something. You're like, that's a cool idea. I'm making that canon for my game. And you'll do that. That's just something that happens.
Yeah, 90% of the books that I collected, thumbing through them. But I did get a chance to play at least not all of them. And then I was constantly picking up other systems because, like, at the time, and those used books were super cheap. So it's like, oh, this was like a $30 book back in the 90s. I'm going to pick it up for like $5. I'll totally spend $5 on it. And then if it turns out to be crap, I'll give it back, get some credit for it. Or like a majority of the stuff, it just sat on my shelf. And every once in a while, go thumb through another chapter or reread. As far as like rules, might throw it into a game or try to get my friends to actually pick up a new system. And so, like, might be one shot, might be a couple of sessions, or for some of the games, we played for a couple of years and it was good. So when Elon Musk makes those android bodies that our brains can be like popped into, and then we go to the Mars colony before we go to Alpha Centauri, we got all that time and space to play all the games we want.
I'm looking forward to that.
And then we can fight the Chigs and the Arachnids for human supremacy, and we'll set up a colony and have good role playing along with fun of humanity. It will be awesome.
So much
All thanks
nuclear.
to the God Emperor.
Praise the God Emperor. I'm ready for this future.
I'm here. I'm here for it.
I don't care if it was a guy, it was a corpse on a golden armor, or a giant worm. Either way, the God Emperor is in our future.
Well,
Childhood.
from everybody here at the Apartment of Solitude, I appreciate one and all for you guys being here, part of tonight's little broadcast. We'll be doing more and more as the year goes on. I see myself having a change in venue. I see myself having a lot of things finally happen, but I wish you guys all the best. It's only January. It's going to get better. Just hold tight. Flady, you're going to have a good transition from one home to the next. Guaranteed, bro. And if you guys need anything, give me a buzz. Hold the line. If you have concerns, drop them in the comments section. We will talk to you guys later. See you in 2 weeks.
Yep. See you in 2 weeks.